Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are going to do something super fun, and that is take a quick unboxing style look at all of the newest Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Captivz figures, which I now have the entire wave here to kind of unbox for you guys. I haven't taken a look at any of them as of right now, so a huge thank you goes out to Toymonster International for sending these over, allowing us an opportunity to check them out here on the channel. That is incredibly awesome of them, and I could not be more excited to take a look at these with you guys. Obviously, we're going to unbox them right now. We're not going to do any kind of like a thorough review. Those will come as time goes on with these figures. But the very first one we have is currently in pieces, but you can see it is the Stegosaurus. So if I hurry up and quickly put our Stegosaurus together, we'll snap them in because that's how you get them together really quickly here. And then we will look at our very cool looking Stegosaurus. So this time, as opposed to the previous one, we have a very cool greenish color scheme that does include some nice browns and stuff as well. And I must say, I am always impressed with the figures that come from this Toymonster International Captivz line because they always provide like a lot of really nice sculpt and detail, but also a lot of really nice paintwork on their figures. And this Stegosaurus does appear to have a beautiful looking paint application. Lots of different tones of color have been applied. You can see some nice washes and everything also applied. Seems to be given some dry brushing. Really nice looking and also quite different from the previous one, which when I do the reviews, I will actually bring in the previous releases and compare them with the newer ones. And then, of course, you have the Stegosaurus card right here, which obviously has a really cool image of the Stegosaurus right there. And then on the back, we have the aggression, intelligence, and its rival is the Baryonyx. Something to remember, as you can actually play a game with these figures as well, which if you had watched my recent unboxing of a Toymonster International's top secret box that they had sent me, you will have probably seen a little bit of that game, so something to keep in mind when purchasing these figures. And the next one we actually had seen in my unboxing of that top secret box, but you could probably tell who it is exactly already for sure. It is the Indominus Rex, and I was really excited to see this version of the Indominus having a slightly different paint scheme than the previous one, because that's one thing when I had seen that they were going to be re-releasing some of the previously released figures, I was wondering if they were going to differ or if they would just be the same figures just re-released. But I am really happy to state that they are definitely, or at least this one is definitely repainted a bit, given a nice dark wash, which looks really cool on the figure. So another really fun Captivz figure. And you also have, again, the little card right here, which sports a really cool image of the Indominus on the front, as well as its aggression, intelligence, and its rival is the T-Rex. And then the next one is one that I'm really psyched to see included because we didn't actually have the full Raptor squad in the previous release of these figures, and we do now with this release, this Camp Cretaceous line. We have all of the Raptor squad included, and this is actually Delta, and it looks beautiful. Like, again, the amount of paintwork that they put into their figures being so small and just being minifigures is so insanely impressive, and the actual sculpt is beautiful as well. Really, really nice looking. And I'm loving the fact that, again, we have the entire Raptor squad now, but it's just nice to see newly sculpted Raptors in this line because I was so impressed with the initial Raptors that these newer ones are really, really blowing me out of the water right here. Fantastic looking figure. And one other thing I just noticed that's actually really cool about this figure is that if you look, the sickle claw isn't in any kind of like an attack position or anything like that. It's actually in a really nice relaxed position down there. So that's something you don't see often portrayed in a Velociraptor that I actually really like. And the next one is the Baryonyx. Now, if you actually had seen my unboxing, you will know that I also got this figure in the box of figures that I had unboxed as far as that kind of top secret box from Toymonster International. So this figure we have already seen a little bit of, and I was really impressed with it as far as the one that I had received. I actually received 2 in that box, so now I have 3 of this figure, but it is just phenomenal. Again, giving us one of the trio of Camp Cretaceous Baryonyx Now, this is a really, really nice looking figure, and I can't wait to actually get these guys up for review. Again, I really only want to just kind of break them out of the boxes here, take a look at them really quick with you guys, and then I'll give them thorough, more specific reviews afterwards. And of course, we do have the Baryonyx card right there, which I think I forgot to show off as far as the aggression, intelligence, and the rival is the Stegosaurus. And actually thinking about it, I don't know if I had shown you guys Delta either, because I might be getting a little off track here, but there is the Delta card as well with a really cool image of Delta. And then we have the aggression and intelligence, and the rival is the Indominus, such a cool throwback to Jurassic World itself. And then we have Velociraptor Charlie, so we'll put Charlie together really quickly. And there is our Charlie figure. Again, the sculpt is phenomenal. However, I will say that the paint application of this one is not so much a Charlie-looking paint scheme as we have less of a greenish coloration to him as opposed to kind of a brown. But either way, the figure still looks incredible. Again, the sculpt is just off the charts. Gorgeous as per usual when it comes to a Toymonster International figure. But the paint actually is really nice. It's just not exactly what you would see on Charlie. But look at the paintwork all the way out onto the tail. The stripes run the entire course of the tail. It just looks so much better when you have paint on the tail, paint on the nails. They just really go the extra mile, I would say, as far as these figures go. Again, giving us the best Jurassic World minis without question I've ever seen. And then Charlie's little card right here, and you can see, again, a very nice image of the figure itself, as well as the aggression, intelligence, and the rival is actually Pteranodon, which is really random, but regardless, we now know Charlie hates Pteranodon. And speaking of Pteranodon, that is our next culprit, and the Pteranodon is actually pretty easy to put together, as we could just throw the head on here, and then we will have our Pteranodon together. It takes a second to pop that in there, but there we go. We now have our Pteranodon flying here and looking really cool, kind of in a soaring pose. And I really like the sculpt of this one as well. Very nice looking, very highly detailed, beautiful paintwork on this one. I actually really like the paintwork on this one a lot more than I liked the older one, which the older one was really nice, but this one I just feel like has a lot more of a lifelike and realistic look. This is another one that we had actually seen already in the unboxing of that top secret box that Toymonster International had sent me. So if you haven't checked out that video, make sure you do, because there's also some extra Toymonster International products in there, like the Zoom Riders and a plush that you obviously will not see in this video. And then the Pteranodon card, and you can see right there, our Pteranodon looking really cool. And then the aggression, intelligence, and the rival is Charlie, so that works perfect. And then the next one is one of the ultra-rare glow-in-the-dark figures. This one is the Baryonyx. I would like to think you could probably tell that already. Unless you're not too familiar with the Baryonyx, then you may not be able to figure that out. And I just missed the spot right there, trying to look through the camera to do this. But the figures, again, as far as the glow-in-the-dark versions, they look really cool. I can't wait to actually review these guys so I can check out the glow-in-the-dark feature to see how nice they actually look. Here, with this kind of a backdrop, you almost can't even see the figure. It almost disappears as it's, a very translucent type of a look. But the sculpt is exactly the same as the previous Baryonyx, just with that really cool translucent glow-in-the-dark look. And then we also have the glow-in-the-dark Baryonyx card here, which looks really cool. I almost want to call these Pogs because they look so similar to Pogs. But we have aggression, intelligence, and the rival is the Stegosaurus. And the next one is one that is, most people's favorites, or at least a lot of people's favorites, which would be the Tyrannosaurus Rex. So we'll go ahead, pop the head on there. I am excited to see that we definitely have a different color scheme for this Rex in comparison to the previous Rexy version that we had. And this time we have kind of a darker greenish color, kind of a darker gray or a green. There is some green here on the underside as well, which again, the paintwork looks really cool. I love the way they paint the figures because they give them like a really nice dose of washes and stuff to make the detail pop very realistically, and that's exactly what you see on pretty much all of them so far, but definitely on this Rex. And again, I'm really psyched to see the figure released with a different paint scheme, because I was kind of concerned that the re-released figures, as far as the sculpts go, would be the same figures, just repackaged, and that is not the case. They have given us alternate paint schemes on each. And then we have our T-Rex card right there, which you can see. And then the aggression, intelligence, and the rival is the Sinoceratops and Triceratops. And here's one that I'm really excited to see. This is one I was quite anticipating getting a look at in person. If we can get the tail on here, we'll pop that tail in right there. And we obviously have Bumpy, the very first Toymonster International Bumpy figure. And man, is this thing really, really nice. Like, that's probably the best Bumpy figure that I've seen from any of the releases so far of Bumpy that have figures out. You know, this is definitely the nicest looking one. Super appealing looking sculpt, really beautiful looking paintwork. Definitely a really, really nice figure. This might actually be leading the charge as far as one of my favorites of the line overall. And then we have our little Bumpy card as well, which you can see a really cool image of Bumpy right there. And then the aggression, intelligence, and his rival is the Baryonyx. And unfortunately, Bumpy doesn't have a whole lot going on as far as his stats go. And then we have another glow-in-the-dark figure, another of the ultra-rare glow-in-the-dark figures, if I could try to remember how to put the head on here correctly. So we have the glow-in-the-dark Pteranodon. Again, these figures are the hardest to find of the entire line, so if you are going to go out looking for them, you happen to snag one of these glow-in-the-dark ones, you've definitely hit the jackpot as far as that figure goes. But the sculpt again is exactly the same as the previous Pteranodons, and just with now a translucent glow-in-the-dark look. Again, I'm really psyched to get a closer look at those guys in a review to check out the actual glow-in-the-dark feature. And then we have our Pteranodon card with the glow-in-the-dark image right there. And again, of course, the stats are going to be the same. There would probably be no difference as far as that goes. And speaking of the glow-in-the-dark figures, we have the final, I believe there's only 3 of the ultra-rare glow-in-the-dark figures in this line. And the third of the ultra-rare glow-in-the-dark figures, as you can tell, is definitely Bumpy. And Bumpy looks awesome in the glow-in-the-dark version, just like Bumpy looked just a moment ago when we had seen the fully colored version. Another really, really cool looking Bumpy figure. And then, of course, we have the card itself with a really cool glow-in-the-dark style image. And then, of course, Bumpy right there. And then the same as far as the stats go, nothing new there. And then we've got Velociraptor Blue, so we'll get Blue put together. And there we go. And this is another of the figures that was included in my initial unboxing as far as that top secret box goes. We were able to snag a Velociraptor Blue in that box as well. And I had stated in that video that I was really psyched as well to see alternate coloration on Blue, because we now have a really nice dark wash, which I think makes the figure just pop so much more, having that dark wash on it. Again, one of the nicest Velociraptor Blue figures probably anywhere. And then we've got the card again for Velociraptor Blue. Really nice image of Blue right there. And then we've got lots of aggression, intelligence, and the rival is the Indominus Rex right there. And then the final of the Raptor squad obviously would be Echo right here. So we'll go ahead and get Echo put together as we snap the tail on, and then we put on the head. Again, you just have to snap these into place, and then your figure is complete and looking really cool. So there is our Echo figure, and obviously Echo seems to be sporting more of like that Camp Cretaceous type of a look, and that makes sense considering these are Camp Cretaceous figures. That would be exactly the way you would want to see the figures colored, would be obviously the Camp Cretaceous type of a paint scheme, and again, really nicely done. Also sporting what appears to be a nice dark wash, which I really like that the Toymonster International Captivz figures are including so much. Like, it really, really makes the detailing pop. And the sculpt is, again, fantastic, like every one of these sculpts are. And then our Echo card right there, as well as the aggression, intelligence, and the rival is, yet again, the Baryonyx. And then we have the second to last, which is the Sinoceratops, which this one definitely looks to have a very similar look to the initial Sinoceratops, and I'm wondering how different the paint application is. Maybe it's just been a little while since I had taken a look at the previous Sinoceratops. I feel like the coloration's just darker on this one, which if that's the case, if the previous one just had a lighter coloration, that's really cool, because then they'll still look like they're part of the same herd, the same group. And this is one I'm really excited to break my older one out and take a look at a comparison between the two. But the sculpt is definitely fantastic as well, and the paint job definitely looks nice on this one. And then we have the card right here for the Sinoceratops, as well as the aggression and intelligence, and the rival is the T-Rex, like we had seen on the T-Rex card. And the final one is the one that I was awaiting seeing here in person, which is the Carnotaurus. So we'll go ahead, pop that tail on, and then take a look at our Carnotaurus. This is obviously Toro, sporting the scar or wound, whatever you want to call it, up there on the face. Obviously a very angry appearance to this Carnotaurus, as it is letting out quite the roar right there, or at least potentially trying to snap down on something. Definitely yet another really cool figure. Really nice looking paintwork on this one. The sculpt has a really cool dramatic action pose to the Carnotaurus. And I'm really happy to finally see a Carnotaurus included in the Captivz line, as this is a new species to the line, something that we did not see in the initial Jurassic World line. And then we also have, of course, our card right here, if we can get it the right way. We have Carnotaurus, and then we have the aggression, the intelligence, and the rival is actually the T-Rex, which potentially doesn't make sense considering we had seen the Carnotaurus and T-Rex interact in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, but another really cool card. So these figures are all absolutely awesome. And as you can see, there is a plethora of Captivz Jurassic World figures in this wave. Unfortunately, some of them are laying on their sides right now, as I was just kind of setting them down, not exactly standing them up. But I will have reviews for each and every one of these figures. I'll probably do a few figures at a time and review them here on the channel. As the weeks go by, I will get these reviews up. I'm really psyched to get a look at them and, again, compare them with their previous releases, if they do in fact have previous releases, as some of these obviously are brand new figures to the line. But again, a really cool wave of awesome Jurassic World figures from the Toymonster International Captivz line. Again, a huge thank you to Toymonster International for sending these over, and make sure you check back, of course, for the reviews. Make sure you also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.